ArtyZen journaling sessions include about 10 minutes of meditation, followed by 10 minutes of art time, 10 minutes of writing with a journal prompt, and conclude with 10 minutes of crafting. All you need for the meditation is yourself. For what follows, you'll want something to write in and with, at minimum. But if you have other art supplies, grab those too. I'll be collaging with some interesting looking papers, stickers, tapes, stuff like that. A quick note on set and setting. I like to add some curios or interesting looking things, maybe some plants and flowers, just to dress my set a little. I also like to have something to sip on, maybe snack on as well, just to round out the experience. Please join me for whatever feels comfortable for you today. The rest will always be here if you want to return to it. Today's meditation is going to focus on using our warm feelings to act more loving and kind in our lives. First, we'll become aware of the present moment and the sensations we feel right now. Settle into a comfortable position and turn your attention to the sounds you hear right now. Close your eyes or let your gaze become soft, not focusing on any one object that you see. Let your attention roam freely over what you sense, what you feel, even what you may be thinking. But try to keep your attention on your present experience, the here and now. If any thought tries to pull you away, gently guide your attention back to the physical sensations in your body or sensory experiences like sounds. Let your attention focus now on the sensations in your body, relaxing any tension you find along the way in your feet, legs, your seat on the cushion, your torso, shoulders, down to your arms and into the hands, back up to the neck and the head. Let your face muscles soften and relax your jaw. With your lips touching softly or mouth in a relaxed open position, let your tongue float up to the back of the front teeth. Bring your attention to your breath sensations now, but try to keep sounds and body sensations in your peripheral awareness. Find where the breath sensations are clearest for you in this moment. That may be somewhere in the belly, ribs, or chest, or it may be higher in the mouth or under the nose. Count 10 breaths, starting on your next exhale, and keep attending to breath sensations when you are finished. The goal of this meditation will be to generate warm feelings and then imagine giving them to others as a gift. You don't have to believe that you're actually sending them this energy right now, It does help if you can accept an idea that thinking about it now may help you to send it later. What we're doing now is generating these feelings within ourselves. So we'll start with ourselves. Put your hands over your heart and repeat after me. May I be comfortably free of all suffering. Try to think of the ways you are free from suffering right now, the ways you feel comfortable now. Or try to think of a time when you were completely comfortable and free of any physical or emotional pain or mental stress. Now repeat, may I be peacefully free of any ill thoughts. Think of all the ways you feel peaceful right now, the ways you are free of ill thoughts or any animosity. Or think back to a time when you felt goodwill towards all those around you. Now say, may I be filled with feelings of warmth and kindness. Think of the ways you feel warm right now, the ways you feel love and kindness in your heart. Or try to think of a time when you felt these feelings more strongly in the past. Now say, may I be truly happy. Think of all the ways you feel happiness in this moment. Or if you like, recall a time when you felt extreme joy. Now, without losing these wonderfully warm feelings we've generated, think of someone you love, someone you care very deeply for, and imagine making the same wishes for them, and visualize yourself giving them freedom from suffering and the gift of comfort. Imagine yourself giving them freedom from ill thoughts and giving peace. Imagine giving them warmth and kindness. Imagine giving them feelings of true happiness. And try to picture their face changing as you give them these precious gifts. Now, we'll try to imagine the same for all the people in your neighborhood. Visualize yourself sending freedom from suffering and comfort out as a gift to all of your neighbors. Imagine yourself giving out freedom from ill thoughts, giving peace and goodwill amongst everyone in your neighborhood. Imagine giving them warmth and kindness and feelings of true happiness. Now, we're going to radiate these feelings out to the entire universe. Imagine you are like a hot sun, so full of these precious feelings that you shine them out past our galaxy to far reaches out in space. Send out your warm feelings of comfort. Send your radiant feelings of peace. Send your bright warmth and kindness out to every corner of the cosmos. Blaze happiness to every being, everywhere. Now, we're going to imagine that energy coming back one last time. Breathe in that warmth and imagine releasing any remaining discomfort as you breathe out. Breathe in that radiance and imagine releasing any remaining ill thoughts as you breathe out. Breathe in that warmth and imagine that kindness and love filling every cell in your body. Breathe in that brilliant light and imagine happiness infusing your being. You can sit with these radiant feelings and your breath until we move on. So for today's art piece, I start by outlining a couple areas with my chosen palette. I'm going with a sort of soft pastel theme today, what I like to think of as a pastel rainbow, kind of just to go with our theme of warmth, because it's still spring, so it's not a big, bright sun kind of warmth yet. For me, it's more of a calm rainbow after the rain type of warmth. So I started filling in a couple areas, but I'll continue now with just kind of making sure I'm outlining where I want things to go. Some of these designs that I included in my ArtyZen Journal are more complex than others, and I've discovered through filling them in that one of the easiest ways to deal with that is for me to fill them in without worrying about getting every single little part, because sometimes pen thickness can become your enemy very quickly. So I like to start with some pens to outline general areas of color, and then move to pencils to do smaller areas. And if the line doesn't show up perfectly, I just shade it in. I'm not worrying too much about making these perfect. I have little guides underneath here for myself, but that doesn't mean I have to follow them to the letter. I can let myself kind of experiment and see where things end up. So I'll continue outlining my bigger areas with my lovely erasable pens. Even though they're erasable, I try not to rely on that too much, because it can still change the piece quite a bit to have a big area that's been rubbed at furiously. Or even gently. Another thing I've done to help myself today, in contrast to my previous videos, is I actually clipped down my work. Sometimes I'll go over a spot more than once though, if I want to create a bit of a thicker line, like especially on the undersides of things. It can give it a little bit more of a sense of weight, even though this is a pretty one-dimensional drawing. Sorry, two-dimensional. It can still be fun to add just a little bit more visual interest with those thick and thin lines. Especially in a piece like this that has so many overlapping things going on. I'm just using the same colors I have in my palette here for the eyes. I'd be tempted to switch to something darker like a black, but it doesn't have to be very anatomically correct for this rabbit. For these little inner designs, I'm just kind of picking one of these repeating designs and making one of them a lot stronger, so that when I come in with pencil, I'll have one area that's just a little bit standing out just a little bit more. Okay, I'm happy with that for that portion. Now I'm just going to go in and fill in some of these other areas with pencil. And this will create some much thinner lines. And since this is a 10-minute coloring session, I'm not going to be too picky or try and worry too much about making everything perfect. I'm just going to see what I can get done today. I've tried to follow a vague color pattern of the way rainbows also kind of show up in sunsets or sunrises, just to pull a little bit more on that theme of warmth. All right, well, that's 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave off with the other parts and be happy with what I got done in 10 minutes. Now for my writing part. I've rearranged my own journal a little bit, so I hope you can forgive me. I took a prompt from the previous page about how can you use the warming weather to motivate your goals and healthy habits. And because I have the originals, I just printed it off again and ticky-tackied it in here for now. Because the prompt on this page is to make a collage, and we're going to be doing that anyway. So hope you'll forgive my rearrangement, but it was for a good cause. And like other times, I'm just going to start by filling in, tracing over this prompt. And as I do that, I'll ponder the question. And since I have 7 colors here that I kind of want to use to make another rainbow effect, I'm just going to quickly count out how many words I have to divvy them up with. Or maybe I can just use thirds, and then this is a little 7th. That works. So let's transition here. Today's kind of been a temperamental day weather-wise, so it's a funny thing to ponder how I can use the warming weather when today so far has been cloudy and sprinkles of rain that have bordered more on hail. But it has been warmer out lately, and I've gone for a couple walks without long johns on, which has been very exciting. So that's been fun. So since I'm thinking of it now, I'm just going to put down, go for walks when it's sunny. Oh, and I want to leave a little room for tape, because I'm going to use some pretty tape to tape this down. Why not? So probably about that much. There's another side to the warming weather that prompted me to get out and move my tushy a bit. Just because last year I had some wasps take up residence in, I was supposed to divide that into 6. Well, apparently I suck at fractions. Anyway, back to my wasp story. I'm going to put down prepare for bugs because since we're in a transition period, this is a good time to set up my patio for my garden and for sitting outside. And if I do it now, I can make sure I don't get any unwanted guests setting up. This yellow isn't showing up very well in this part, so maybe it's a good thing I didn't leave a lot of room for it. There we go, our first happy accent of the day. That was a less happy accent, so I'm glad I'm using these erasable guys. Sometimes I just fall back on my chicken scratch habits and write like I'm in a rush. And I shouldn't be. 10 minutes is more than enough time to go over this and ponder how I can use this nice warming spring weather to motivate some goals and healthy habits. That's another part I can think of. So getting outside and walking are certainly healthy habits, but thinking about what I eat during this time. And I definitely feel like more fruit and salad is more in keeping with the time. Ooh, and combining that with another one, I can go for more frequent walks to the grocery store. Oh. Another thing I could do is, on the topic of combining practices, I've only done this a couple times, but I'd like to try some more art and journal sessions out in the park. Who knows? Maybe I'll shoot one of these there. Trying to think of what else I could do. So, since I'm kind of petering out on ideas, if I'm being honest, I'm just going to return to coloring in this bunny for a bit until something else pops into my head about how I can use this warming weather. I mean, well, meditation in the park too is always one of my favorites. Or there's a little area I like to go for some walking meditations. It just lends very well to that. So let's see. Covered all my big bases. One of my other goals is writing, keeping up with my writing. And while the warming weather itself isn't an excuse for it, I can try and get ahead on writing so that I can spend more time outside. I think part of motivating yourself sometimes is just in remembering that sometimes you'll have other things you want to do, and getting something out of the way means more room for that other thing. I certainly love using the springtime to go for more walks and enjoy my time outside as much as possible. So it's most of my main goals. There are certain things that I have goals to do that are really only indoor activities, like some of my craft projects or spring cleaning. But again, that'll kind of fall into the same writing category as trying to maybe get ahead on those things so that I can spend the nicer days outside. Use rainy days for the indoor stuff. Alright, now to move on to that crafting part. Now for our crafting segment, I've chosen some papers that are in the same color scheme and stickers that kind of fit the same theme that's already been started here, and some tapes that are in the same colors as my little pastel rainbow, except that I don't have a pastel yellow really. And I'm just gonna start sticking stuff in. And this time I don't want to be too fussy. I just want to create some nice areas of color. I have some pretty tapes for taping this down and adding a little more splash of color to it. Sometimes what I like to do with my writing part is sort of tape it off, sort of make a little box around it with tape. That way there it gives it a little bit of separation, but it also, if you're using tapes that fit the color scheme, it's also, it's boxing it off, but it's also part of it. So you're creating a separation, but it's still folded into the rest of the piece. I think that's kind of a neat effect that you can create. I think I'll use my pretty rainbow. Maybe a bit of this for the next part, but first I want to create another rainbow with some of these. Usually like to leave more white space than I think I'm going to end up with today, but you know, that's fine. It's good to deviate from your norms sometimes. Talked before about not worrying too much about creating straight lines or lining things up too much, because I actually kind of like some of these overlaps, which is why I leave them. If you absolutely hate that, then you don't have to do it. What you can do if you don't like that idea at all is slip, if you have any of these cutting mats, if you can slip it under an area and then tape to it, you can actually cut with an X-Acto knife to get a nice straight line. It's not my preferred thing to do, but now that I've mentioned it, maybe I should pop that into my next video to actually demonstrate what I'm talking about instead of just yammering on about it. While we're playing with tape and papers and stickers, kind of want to return to that idea of using the warming weather to motivate goals and healthy habits, and connect that with our meditation from the beginning, where we generated warm, happy feelings and then thought about giving those out as a gift to people around us. And I'd just like to spend a few moments thinking about that again. Whether there's a way that you can bring that warmth into your interactions today. Is there anyone you're going to see today that could use some extra warmth? Many of us could, but does anyone come to mind who could use just a bit more of your nice, warm feelings towards them when you encounter them today? Oh, don't want to cut off my little bunny's nose. Maybe I should go from this direction. There we go. Safe little nose. Likewise with yourself, can you generate warmer feelings for yourself more often? My next little personal project is going to be to try and take all these meditations that I've been doing and put them just on their own in a playlist, so that anyone who wants to return to something like our warmth meditation from today can do so and find that again nice and easily. I'm using another really cheap trick here to create straight lines. Some of my stickers already have nice straight lines, so if I want one, I can always just stick a sticker over it. And that's a easy way to get that back in. Also, the tapes themselves have nice straight lines, so you can always use another piece of tape that's maybe more opaque. These ones are a bit see-through. Ended up with kind of a funny little cut on that one. actually want to bring more of that purple back in. This whole using colored tapes can become like another form of painting if you have some colors you can use. Well, I'm already hitting my 10-minute bell. Very bad at keeping to 10 minutes, it seems. It's okay. Just finish up here with some of these stickers that I knew I wanted to have this bunny facing the other bunny. Cut off one of my flowers a bit, but now they're looking at each other. I don't know why I like that so much, but I do. And I wanted to have this nice planet somewhere, maybe connecting with that blue. So that's following my theme of things getting warmer. And these nice sunny flowers warming up as the earth warms. And just a couple more of these little plants. Maybe we'll stick them up here so that they're overlapping these tape lines. There. I'm happy with that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you join me again for another one of these sessions. And I also really hope you do one just with yourself in between where you call all the shots and do whatever the heck you like. Bye for now.